Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the confusing world of corporate filings. And today we've got a real page turner about an accounting firm switch that might just make you scratch your head. So what's the big news with Innventure Inc? Well, it looks like they've decided to swap out their accountants. This is a pretty common thing, but the reasons and timing can tell us a lot about a company's health and internal workings. So let's dive in and see what's really going on here. First off, let's get a little context. Innventure Incorporated, which you might know by its stock ticker symbol INVEG, is incorporated in Delaware and has been around for a little while. They're registered with the SEC under commission file number 001-42303. Their stock, which is common stock with a very small par value, trades on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC under the ticker INVEG. It's always good to know where a company's stock is listed, as it gives us a clue about its size and public profile. Now, the main event here is a change in the independent registered public accounting firm. This is typically called a change in auditor. Think of auditors as the scorekeepers for a company's finances. They make sure everything is recorded correctly and according to the rules. This filing tells us that on August 18th, 2025, the part of Innventure's board responsible for overseeing audits, called the Audit Committee, decided to part ways with their accounting firm BDO USA PC, or BDO for short. They made this decision effective immediately and then let BDO know the very next day. So it seems like this wasn't a slow goodbye. BDO hadn't been with Innventure for a super long time as the official company auditor, taking over in October 2024, but they had also been auditing Innventure's earlier version called Innventure LLC since mid-22. This means BDO had a pretty good grasp of the company's financial history leading up to this point. Now here's a crucial piece of information. BDO's reports on Innventure's finances for the years ending December 31, 2023 and December 31, 2024 were generally clean. They didn't have any major complaints or expressed doubts about the company's accounting methods. However, there was a very important exception. BDO included an explanatory paragraph in their reports. This paragraph flagged a substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. In simpler terms, the auditor was a very important exception. BDO included an explanatory paragraph in their reports. This paragraph flagged a substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. In simpler terms, the auditors were saying they weren't completely sure if Innventure would be able to stay in business for much longer. This is a really big red flag for investors and anyone concerned about the company's future. The report also clarifies that during the period BDO was auditing them, there were no major arguments or disagreements about accounting rules or how financials were presented. This is usually a good sign. However, it does mention something called material weaknesses in the company's internal control over financial reporting. This is where things get interesting. Material weaknesses mean that there are significant flaws in how the company manages its money and financial records, making errors more likely. So what kind of weaknesses are we talking about? The report lists a few key issues. First, not enough people in the accounting department. Second, weak controls around their computer systems, which is critical for cybersecurity and data integrity. Third, not enough checks and balances on how they account for things, how they track their inventory, and how they make financial predictions for a company called Accession Holdings LLC. Fourth, a lack of separating different job duties, which can prevent fraud and errors, and also a lack of proper review processes. Finally, they mention a change in how they accounted for a business combination, which basically means how they recorded the purchase of another company, with Learn CW Investment Corporation. This was disclosed in their previous annual report and a registration statement. All these weaknesses are serious and can impact the reliability of their financial reporting. The report confirms that Innventure's audit committee talked about these internal control problems with BDO, and importantly, they've given BDO the go-ahead to talk openly with the new auditors about these weaknesses and anything else they need to know. This is standard procedure to ensure a smooth handover of information. As required by the SEC's rules, Innventure shared this report with BDO and asked them to confirm if they agree with what Innventure has stated here. If BDO doesn't agree with anything, they're supposed to explain why. This confirmation letter from BDO is filed as an exhibit, number 16, which is usually the case when an auditor is dismissed without significant disagreements on specific accounting issues. So if BDO is out, who's in? On the same day they dismissed BDO, August 18th, 2025, the audit committee also decided to bring on a new accounting firm, Witham Smith plus Brown, PC, or Witham for short. They've been hired to audit Innventure's books for the rest of 2025 and any interim periods. This means Innventure is moving forward with a new team to review their finances. Interestingly, the report states that Innventure hadn't consulted with them before about any accounting issues or potential audit opinions. They also hadn't discussed any matters that were disagreements or reportable events with Witham. This suggests that the decision to change auditors wasn't based on seeking advice from Witham about past problems. Instead, it seems like a clean break and a fresh start with a new auditing firm. Now, let's talk about the paperwork. This filing, like most 8Ks, includes a section on financial statements and exhibits. As mentioned earlier, Exhibit 16.1 is the letter from BDO USA PC to the SEC dated August 2025. This letter is where BDO confirms their agreement or disagreement with the company's statements about their dismissal. And finally, we have the signatures. This section is essentially the company's formal sign-off on the report. Here we see the signature of David Yablonowski, who holds the title of Chief Financial Officer. It's dated April 11th, 2025, which is interesting because the events described in the report happened in August of 2025. This might be a typo in the filing or indicate the filing was prepared much earlier than the events it describes. However, most of the actual event dates are August 19, 2025. This is something to keep an eye on for accuracy in filings. So what's the takeaway here? Innventure is changing its auditors. The previous auditor, BDO, did not report any major disagreements on accounting principles, but did express substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. On top of that, there were identified material weaknesses in their internal financial controls, like understaffing in accounting, weak IT controls, and issues with inventory and duty segregation. These are significant red flags. Bringing on Witham Smith Brown PC suggests Innventure is looking for a fresh perspective and perhaps a firmer hand in ensuring its financial reporting is accurate and robust. The going concern warning from BDO and the internal control weaknesses are critical factors. Investors will want to see how Witham addresses these issues and if Innventure can successfully implement controls to strengthen its financial operations. The discrepancy in dates for the signature is a minor point, but it does highlight the importance of reviewing every detail in these filings. Overall, Innventure appears to be in a period of significant internal review and transition. The auditor switch, coupled with the underlying issues of going concern and internal control weaknesses, signals potential challenges ahead. Investors should be watching closely to see if the new accounting firm brings greater stability and transparency to their financial reporting process, and whether the company can effectively address the identified internal control deficiencies. What's your take on this auditor switch and the issues at Innventure? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more insightful corporate dives. Don't forget to join our Discord community for more in-depth discussions. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.